Hello, fellow Toolboxers. Welcome to episode number 385 of the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox podcast. It's being recorded pretty soon before the AILA National Conference is coming. We're going to be there busy having both an exhibit hall booth, which is going to be a week's long escapade of fun stuff, talking to everybody. So definitely stop by. But also a break from work and a never ending insanity of what's going on under the Trump administration, which I'm sure they're going to be launching all sorts of crazy stuff while we're there, even intentionally knowing that that's the biggest organizational group meeting that we have. But I want to get this out. This episode is a Trump update. I recorded one. Let me see when last one was recorded. We got a lot of views. Let's go to podcasts and oops, not play. Over here stuff. But essentially, I had done one with what's going on in the Trump administration and what kind of things have happened so far. Now, expecting to publish these every quarter or something like that, but there's enough stuff. I'm like, I got to get in right now and talk about it. So April 17th was last one. Now it's June 12th. So 13 days here, 13 days there. It's like 2 months. Okay. So it's an emergency Trump immigration update, so you're aware of some stuff that's come on my plate, and just kind of update what's going on because you have different practice areas, and I don't always get every single thing because I'm not a specialist in removal proceedings, but we're going to talk a little about that stuff too to get it started. But I do want to have some housekeeping stuff. First of all, I want to thank a sponsor for this episode. You all know them very well already. It's e-immigration by Serenade, and it's some groundbreaking stuff they're doing. If you're coming to the conference, definitely stop by their booth because they got this going on. I recently talked with them on e-immigration. They shared a big announcement. They've now integrated with VisaLaw.ai. Over 10,000 users of theirs can now, and future users can now connect their e-immigration accounts to VisaLaw.ai. That's the software, AI software that Greg Siskin and his team developed. A lot of people know, so it's amazing that this is happening. This allows them to generate expert letters, court documents, petition briefs, and entire case packets directly within their case management system. Its case management meets modern drafting, so you can build stronger cases faster than ever. The combination of e-immigration and VisaLaw.ai means that what used to take hours can now be done in minutes. Just think how much faster your immigration workflows can be. Learn more at get.eimmigration.com/VisaLaw.ai. Again, that's get.eimmigration.com/VisaLaw.ai. That's amazing that they're getting into that. They've been very, very kind to support the magazine and the podcast. I look forward to seeing them in person there. Other than that, just got to mention, we got the EB1A. I was going to surprise you at the conference announcing it, but EB1A course is ready for registration. So email me, and we'll be releasing it probably July 1st for the public. EB1A Extraordinary Ability. You want to get in that field seminar. It's going to go through all of it. It's going to boost your practice and open up what you could do in the past. Having said that, all the information provided here is not intended as individual legal guidance. Please consult an immigration attorney, but you all know that already. All right, so let me look at my notes. The most disturbing thing that popped up right off the bat was like 2 weeks ago. There was a raid at a restaurant in San Diego where they came in with like SWAT team style. And a lot of craziness ensued. People, protesters pushed back, which is interesting, even though the government's fully armed and using tear gas, all that kind of stuff. So that kind of set the tone. That was like the first shot launched in this civil disturbances that are starting across the country right now. Our work is at the epicenter of it all. Our immigration works. Never thought growing up I'm going to be doing some area of just life work that's going to be like the biggest thing where it's disturbances happen in the country. But there we are in the thick of it. But that really threw it off, and they started doing raids all over the place. Right now in Los Angeles, they're chasing after people that are working on the farms. It's kind of wild. And I think they're intentionally doing this stuff on visually TVs to kind of push self-deportation. I think that's really it. But with this big so-called big beautiful bill that's come out, there's a lot of funding for ICE and detainment and all that kind of stuff. So it can really change the nature of America and the relationship of the state with the individual and security and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty messed up situation. But after that, in LA, they're doing crackdowns as well all over the place, which led to disturbances and people just breaking things in downtown LA. Who knows if it's agent provocateurs or is real or not? What's going on? But it's a really scary situation. LA's now imposed a curfew in downtown LA area. It's kind of that's where the immigration office is, and I've had I have like 4 or 5 interviews scheduled this week. All of a sudden we had like no interviews and I got like 10 marriage green card interviews in a 3-week period. So it really slammed my office with prepping those and stuff like that. And then being downtown every day, which is like sucks the like time out of you. I really enjoyed not having interviews. But anyways, they canceled those up so this full week. Then early next week, we already got cancellations for those right before the AILA conference. So we'll see how that goes. But it's a pretty messed up situation you wouldn't expect. But even more messed up for kind of practice I do is anecdotal rumors here and they're coming out. They're more than rumors. Anecdotally, it's happening where people will have an adjusted pending case like marriage to U.S. citizen, clean, no criminal history, no blah, blah, blah. So they have to overstay, B2 overstay, F1 overstay. And ICE is, picking them at the interview or after the interview come to your house. That's a scary situation. And especially when you do I call it transactional kind of immigration, where you don't do, detained docket work or immigration court work. You got to find out where your client is. They're going to be scared. They're going to be detained. It's going to take weeks to get them out if possible. Cost them a lot of money. And you have to refer to colleagues, but for those kind of cases. But it's a waste of resources. A lot of these people are married U.S. citizens. They're going to go to court and just anyways. So it's a waste. But I think they have orders up top to do 3,000 detained or pickups a day. So ICE says what lawyers are saying is that they called the ICE officer, and the ICE officer is like, I don't want to do this either, but our hands are tied. They're from DC. They're telling us they have to do this. So they're forcing them to do that. It's a really crazy scenario that's happening. And it's really affected a lot of people. It's like, what do you tell people who want to adjust? You overstay typically for all history of this, what we're doing, it's been okay, but now they might just, they need the numbers, so they might pick you up. So you may want to wait 4 years until you adjust, or how do you deal with that? And then you have the whole thing of registration for those people too, if they haven't registered. Because for a lot of people who are adjusting, they came in with visas, so they're already in the system. But the messed up part is people do I-130s and to do the 601A waiver, and then it's up limbo what's going to happen if they do an interview with the I-130 and then they get them. Another thing that popped up was in my notes is that they're doing biometrics appointments now for I-131s for advanced parole with the adjustment case. For the I-130s, they're getting standalone I-130s. They're getting biometrics appointments, which is scaring a lot of people to show up there. So that's a weird thing that's popped up. We're getting ASC appointments that notices that list all the forms on them. So it's kind of a weird situation what's happened. Another thing that's happened in the Ninth Circuit, which is weird, is that they're sending out these orders to show cause for a lot of people who filed federal court cases, and they're having a 28-day response situation. I've heard back when this started happening, it started getting out there. I think it's people who potentially filed cases that were kind of weak or appeals or something like that, probably to buy time for clients. The Ninth Circuit is cracking down, which is kind of weird because Ninth Circuit is typically the circuit that would do this kind of stuff. And the lawyers getting these notices probably aren't going to be talking about it a lot, but that's a kind of crazy situation that's happening, and they have to deal with that. Their life just got really busy right there. But that's the thing. Never file these kind of cases. Don't file a case that you don't have strength just to do it. You got to be very careful. And I'm not sure I talked about this in the last one, but people are getting these notices if they had voluntary departure and they overstayed, and they're sending these civil violations that are in the millions. So be prepared for that. I don't know how to deal with that one. Now, SCOTUS, we're jumping from ICE and executive branch. We went over to courts. The Supreme Court ruled in favor of Trump administration to be able to still move forward with taking away TPS, particularly Venezuelans. I think if you got a Venezuelan TPS and you have the EAD card, it's valid for more time. You can still stay here on that. But that's a whole thing right now is going to happen. I'm not sure what the world's going to happen. But we're also getting notices they're canceling all sorts of other TPS types from different countries as well, and not renewing them. So that's TPS is TP gone. So that's that. And then finally, the big one, the big elephant in the room, is the travel ban that was announced this week by the administration. To me, a travel ban is really an anti-Iran axis thing, but they took Syria out because Syria is the ally now. They took over the government. But Iran's and Venezuela the biggest numbers. We're getting people from Burma or all these other countries who got green card lottery winners, and they're like, "What do we do now? This sucks." And a lot of people who are student visa holders or not visa, they want to get student visas. They're about to come, and they can't. That's been a really messed up situation for them. Now, the thing about this travel ban is most likely it's going to pass muster when it comes to court filings and litigation. That's, as you know, last time essentially they said this is prerogative of the executive branch. Their interesting thing was if you have Iranian cases, the big thing is there's an exception for immediate relative cases. That's a plus. So spouse, parent, and child of a U.S. citizen. Now they said they're going to heighten scrutiny, so potential DNA test. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. That's going to really messy. Or for marriage cases, they're going to want more bona fides. That's weird. Unfortunately, K1s weren't included in that for the people who have total bans. Like Iran won't be able to do a fiance visa, but Venezuela can because they got a partial one. They just banned certain like student visas and B1, B2s and immigrant visas for them too for Venezuela. But that exception for married spouse, immediate relatives exists. But this goes one of those things. It's like you saw this during the travel ban during the COVID for the pandemic. They made exceptions for spouses and stuff like that. It's very rarely wise to do a fiance visa unless the people really want it. They don't know each other well enough, or like they just met like yesterday and decided to get married. Almost always, unless it's to get a marriage green card. Now I say that I just had a consultation where I recommend someone do a K1. The reason for that is they wanted to come enter the United States faster and get a work permit faster because they had like medical school stuff coming up. So they wanted to register in time and all that kind of stuff. But normally, I would say marriage green card all the way. And even for the last 5 years, I would say marriage, no fiance visa, in for timelines because the I-129F was taking so long, like 12 to 18 months, and the I-130 was faster. But according to government stats, they're saying the I-129F is taking 5.7 months right now, as opposed to I-130 is taking like 14 months or something. So going on a non-Trump tangent, but it's a broader picture is almost always marriage green card makes sense. I-130, except for rare instances, which really very case and fact specific to want to recommend a K1. But that situation there. For Iran, they also have this other exception where if you're like a religious or ethnic minority that persecuted, they could do that. So that's another option that we're pursuing, trying to get evidence of the people being part of that group to help these Iranian cases get through. But we're still waiting on it. We don't know what's going on. Maybe there's going to be a waiver, maybe there's not. Who knows? Like, even these cases from these countries get administrative processing anyway, so they're stuck a lot of times, regardless of a travel ban, forever for them to get issued. But it's really going to mess up a lot of the universities are going to go semi-bankrupt because there's so much money to be lost there. Tourism is already going to take a hit. New York was publishing some numbers like 2 million less tourists this year. I would imagine even more than that are not going to come to the United States. So it's a direct, hit toward the tourist economy, towards the education economy. It's a wild situation, but this is the second emergency update I'm doing. I'm sure there's going to be 10 more, but hey, it's going to be a long 3.5 years. If you start practicing immigration law during this time, you're going to have really a tough immigration lawyer because you'll be paired, like it's much easier if you're new to this. Same thing happened last time around. It was a tough period of time, but it toughens you up and it just makes you a better attorney through it. But I wanted to send that update for those who are just trying to keep up with everything that's happening. You can't follow everything. A lot of lawyers don't do consular processing, so it's good to know this travel ban exists and how it goes. I can't find my sheet that highlighted with the travel ban notes, unfortunately. So you can check it out for yourself about if it applies to you or not. But the Iran one in particular, because that's something I handle frequently, I had the notes on. And then the Venezuela was like it's kind of weird. They're essentially a full travel ban, but H1B and L1s are okay or O's, but like the other basics aren't. So it's kind of a weird situation there. And I had a consultation with a person. It was a F4 category. F4 takes 15 years, and their interview was like next week, but the travel ban came to effect June 9th. They're a Venezuelan family. I was like, oh man, you wait all these years, then you get hit with a travel ban, and they have a child age out. I mean, the child age does locked in and everything, but it's a nasty scenario to be stuck with, but that's the nature of politics and the world nowadays. Immigration lawyer John Khosravi, please, if it's hear this recording, you're at the AILA conference, you're going to be there, come stop by the booth on booth number 1007. It's going to be real fun to get to meet you in person. And we have a community page, I forgot to talk about it, but where you could just send me your email if you're a lawyer or lawyers only. We publish a lot of free content, white label content. For example, if you follow the Toolbox or JQK Law, we have these images where my team takes statistics from the Department of State with regard to various visas, and we just post those, try to get attention. I've told my team to make a white label version, so circle.so community members is free. If your lawyer could download those, put their own logo and names and stuff on there, post those on their social media to get attention too. Especially if you specialize in one of those areas. If you're O1 visa, it's good to have that and keep publishing it to show that you're really on top of it. And just see the stats for yourself, what's going on. It's going to help with your marketing too, to see which countries get the most amount of visas from those countries. So, do your advertising specific to them because there's just more numbers involved there. All right, everybody, thanks so much for listening. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.